Welcome back to the deep dive. If you own a home, especially one with a fireplace or a stove, well, this is one of those deep dives that is just non-negotiable knowledge.
hmm
We're zeroing in on chimney safety and structural resilience, but with a really specific focus: the specialized, almost brutal environment of coastal Maine.
That's right. We've been looking at a whole stack of sources, service descriptions, company guidelines, a lot of essential FAQs, all centered around the work of Select Chimney Services in Portland, Maine.
And our mission today.
Our mission is to really filter all that down to the critical nuggets. We want you to walk away not just knowing what to do, but really understanding why these Maine chimneys fail.
And how to protect your home from what the sources call the #1 structural threat.
Exactly.
So the goal isn't just a boring list of facts. It's about giving you the clarity and the context you need to make smart, preemptive decisions about your home. This is the shortcut. Okay, so let's set the scene a bit. We're talking about Portland, Maine. It's this incredibly vibrant city right on the coast, known for its historic peninsula that juts out into Casco Bay.
Beautiful place. And you have the Old Port District, famous for those, gorgeous 19th century brick buildings.
Right, the cobblestones, the historic charm of areas like the West End, Munjoy Hill. It's a postcard.
It is a postcard, but it's a postcard that faces relentless weather. And while the charm of those old buildings is, what draws people in, the sources make it crystal clear.
What's that?
That same coastal environment introduces a whole host of structural vulnerabilities. A company like Select Chimney Services, being based right there, has to deal with the unique challenges that Maine weather poses.
And it goes way beyond just a tough winter, doesn't it? It's not just the cold.
No, not at all. It's the combination of elements. You have the constant cycle of sea air, that dense coastal humidity, and the famous New England freeze-thaw cycle.
Ah, the freeze thaw. Explain that.
Well, water gets into the masonry, it freezes, and water expands by about 9% when it freezes. Yeah, and that expansion widens the crack. Then it thaws, leaving a bigger gap for the next time it rains or snows.
So it's the cyclical stress just breaking the chimney apart slowly.
And it's accelerated by the salt in the air, which is corrosive to mortar and metal flashing.
Yeah.
The chimney, standing up there, totally exposed, it just takes the brunt of it all.
And I see here this isn't just a Portland problem. The expertise covers places like South Portland, Windham, Augusta, even Lewiston and Biddeford.
That's right. If you're anywhere near the coast or in a region with those weather patterns, you really need to be paying attention.
Okay, when we talk about threats, let's break it down. There are two big ones. Let's start with the one everyone thinks of first. Fire.
Right. Creosote.
Creosote buildup. Everyone knows it's flammable, but what is it exactly?
It's essentially this tarry, crusty gunk left behind when wood smoke cools and condenses inside your chimney flue. But the key thing is, not all creosote is the same.
There are levels to it.
There are stages or degrees. The first degree is just a light powder, easy to clean. The second degree is harder, like flakes, and it's tougher to get off. But then there's the third degree.
Third degree, that sounds bad.
That's the really dangerous stuff. It's this highly concentrated, shiny, black, almost glazed residue. It's been heated and cooled so many times that it's basically become pure fuel.
And you can't just brush that away.
No. And if a spark hits that, or your fire burns hot enough, it can ignite. And a chimney fire burns at 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
2,000? That's terrifying.
It can compromise the entire chimney structure and jump to the wood frame of your house in just minutes. That's the nightmare scenario.
Okay, so that's the catastrophic fire risk. But what really stood out to me in the sources for coastal Maine is that fire, it isn't even the #1 long-term threat.
No, it's not. That title belongs to moisture.
Moisture.
Yes, this is the biggest single takeaway for anyone in a coastal home. It is explicitly called out as the #1 threat to chimney systems in Maine.
So while fire burns fast,
water destroys slow. If you see water stains on your walls or you feel dampness in the attic near the chimney, that leak isn't an annoyance. It is actively dismantling your chimney from the inside out.
it's a structural problem, not just a cosmetic one.
Precisely. Water gets into the mortar joints, and once the mortar is compromised, the chimney can start to lean or crumble. It's a guaranteed process when masonry is exposed to that kind of constant water stress.
So for you listening, recognizing the signs is step one. What are those, say, 4 immediate red flags that mean you need to call someone right now?
Okay, beyond an obvious leak, look for these. First, a strong, smoky, or almost acidic smell from the fireplace, especially when it's humid out. Second, excessive soot buildup on the front of the fireplace. Third, a bad draft smoke filling the room. And finally, if you can look up in the flue and see those hard, shiny, black creosote deposits we just talked about,
Any one of those means stop using it and make the call.
immediately.
So, knowing those red flags, what is the mandatory proactive step we have to take before any of that happens?
It all comes down to frequency. The recommendation, and it's stressed everywhere, is simple, but it's non-negotiable.
Which is
Your chimney must be inspected and cleaned at least once a year.
that annual checkup. It's your shield against everything we've discussed. It prevents fire, but also it ensures proper ventilation, right?
Absolutely. A blocked flue, even without a fire, can lead to a deadly buildup of carbon monoxide, the silent killer.
Okay, let's talk about protection. I think a lot of people see the hole at the top of the chimney and don't think much about it, but the sources really hammer home the importance of a chimney cap.
The chimney cap is the unsung hero of the whole system. It's just a small piece of metal, but it does 3 critical jobs.
Okay, what are they?
First, it's a rain hood. It keeps that coastal rain and snow, our #1 threat, out of the flue. Second, it's a spark arrestor, so embers don't land on your roof.
And the third one, which I find fascinating, is about wildlife.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. A chimney is a warm, dark, sheltered cavity. It's basically a luxury apartment for squirrels, raccoons, birds.
And they build nests in there.
Huge nests.
Yeah.
And those nests create a total blockage, which guarantees either a carbon monoxide backup into your home or a chimney fire. The cap just stops them from getting in.
That makes perfect sense. Now let's talk about the DIY question. The temptation to just buy a brush kit online is pretty high. If I only use my fireplace a few times a winter, do I really need a professional?
That is a great question, and the answer from the pros is a resounding yes. And here's why.
Okay.
You can scrape some of the surface soot yourself, sure. But DIY cleaning misses the fundamental safety check. A professional isn't just cleaning, they're doing an inspection.
So they're looking for things I can't even see.
Exactly. They're looking at flashing that waterproof seal where the chimney meets the roof. They're checking the damper, the smoke chamber, the unseen decay in the mortar joints.
So they're basically structural detectives spotting those tiny cracks before they become a huge problem.
That's a perfect way to put it. They have specialized cameras to check the flue liner. No homeowner can do that. Given the stakes fire, structural collapse, the peace of mind a pro provides is, well, it's just non-negotiable.
All right, so since moisture is this overwhelming threat in coastal Maine, let's get into the specialized services designed to fight back against that water damage.
Yes, this is where you move from simple cleaning to proactive maintenance.
Let's start with the most direct defense, waterproofing.
Okay, so this is not just slapping a coat of paint on the bricks. This is a specialized, breathable sealant applied to the outside of the chimney.
Breathable. That's interesting. Wouldn't you want it to be completely sealed?
You'd think so, but no. The chimney has to be able to release moisture that gets trapped inside the masonry from flue gases and condensation.
I see.
If you use a non-breathable sealant, you trap that moisture in, which just makes the freeze-thaw damage even worse. Professional waterproofing lets vapor out, but it stops liquid water from getting in.
Okay, this next service is the one that really caught my eye because it seems totally unrelated. Gutter cleaning and repair. Why is a chimney specialist focused on gutters?
It's a brilliant preventative measure. It connects directly back to that #1 threat.
How so?
Think about it. When your gutters clog, they don't just drip. They pour huge amounts of water down the side of your house. If your chimney is on that wall, that water just bypasses all the normal protections and saturates the brick face.
You're guaranteeing water damage.
Exactly. Keeping water flowing away from the house is fundamental to protecting the masonry.
That completely reframes gutter cleaning. It's not just about looks. Okay, let's move on to repairs.
Tuck pointing. People have heard the term, but what is it really?
Tuck pointing is vital for those historic brick homes, like in the old port, when the mortar between the bricks starts to crumble and fall out.
Which compromises the whole structure.
Right. Tuck pointing is the meticulous process of grinding out that old, bad mortar and then refilling the joints with fresh mortar. It restores the strength and seals all those gaps. So it's not just patching, it's a real overhaul of the joints.
It is. And if you neglect it, you're eventually looking at a full demolition and rebuild, which is incredibly expensive.
And finally, let's go inside the chimney. Stainless steel liners.
Liners are critical, especially in older homes that were built without them or just had clay tiles that are now cracked.
What's their main purpose?
Safety.
Safety. Safety is #1. They prevent heat from transferring through cracked masonry and igniting the wood frame of your house.
And secondly, efficiency, I assume.
Yes. A properly sized, smooth liner creates a much better draft. That means less smoke in your room and less creosote buildup. It is probably the single best safety upgrade you can make to an old chimney.
This whole deep dive really gives you a clear picture of the stakes, especially if you're a homeowner on the coast. The takeaways are pretty stark.
Mm-hmm.
Annual professional inspection is crucial. Water is the primary enemy in coastal Maine. And these specialized services, waterproofing, tuck pointing, they're essential for protecting your investment. And you can see the ethos behind the services is about expert work, but also honest communication. Explaining why a repair is needed, not just handing you a bill. It's about building long-term trust.
To bring this all full circle, let's go back to where we started. The sources specifically mention these charming historic neighborhoods in Portland: the Old Port, the West End, Munjoy Hill.
Right, and this raises a final, powerful question for you to think about. If moisture is the #1 threat,
Then what about the chimneys on those 19th century buildings?
exactly, how much more precarious are they? Those structures were built with lime mortars, which are naturally softer and much more susceptible to water damage than modern mortars.
So it's this constant battle between preserving that historic character and dealing with modern weather.
It is. The age, the materials, the exposure. It means that for those buildings, annual vigilance isn't just maintenance. It's really an act of architectural preservation.
Ignoring a small leak in a 130-year-old chimney isn't just risky.
It's actively accelerating the loss of that historic fabric. It's something to think about the next time you see a chimney cap gleaming on top of one of those beautiful old buildings.
A perfect reminder that protecting your home is often about protecting a piece of history. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.